is it, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon back at you another one. And this is the Better Call Saul Season 6, Episode 8 pregame prediction calling live stream. We will be here every week for the pregame show. Same time. You know who's here. The Don Tony Teflon is here. Phil the Issues guy is here. What's going on?
It's good to be here. We finally made it. We made it to this time where we're at episode premiere date. It's going to be fun talking about these episodes before. I'm going to be popping on afterwards too. And Tony, hopefully you'll be able to join us a couple times throughout the season over there too. It's going to be a fun year talking about the show. Enough speculation. Let's get to the episode. It's going to be exciting.
Exactly. And as soon as Better Call Saul is over, head to Phil the Issues Guy's channel. He'll be right there to go through the craziness with you live. You can get it off your chest. Again, this is a call-in live stream when the number is right on the crawl on the bottom. It's 781-990-8509. And let's get into it. Let's get this thing show on the road. Let's do this right now. What up to my thugs, nerds, freaks, and geeks? You're now rocking with the best of Don Tony Teflon. As always, subscribe, click that bell so you can be notified every time I drop a new video. We are here to get this popping. The Don Tony Teflon show. Phil the Issues guy here. And all of our people in the chat is rocking with us. Like Caesar is up in the building. Dave B is rocking with us. Space Mutant TV is up here. Pig Cashmere is in the building. Jackie C is rocking with the Don Tony Teflon. Phil the Issues guy. Usual suspects in the building. Michelle Hayes is in the building rocking with us. Listen. We see it. Carol Funk is up in this piece. Spicy Carrot.
Ooh, yeah.
Ready to go right now. Tom is in the building ready to get this thing popping right now. All right, let's get right to it. And Henry, let's say Henry and my man George is in the building. We'll give some more shout outs. Let's get right to Phil.
I can't believe it. I can't believe we're here. I mean, I know it's only been 7 weeks. I'm sorry. I'm jumping out of my seat in excitement here. And I'm so excited as well that Tony decided to do the pregame streams. He was the first person to do pregames, did pregames for Game of Thrones stuff too. A lot of, I do after, but doing the before. So we're going to try to extend this Better Call Saul evening every Monday as long as possible. Talk about the episodes before and after. It's really awesome. Obviously, there's some speculation about this episode, but it's going to be good to finally see it live and see where this season starts to head. And I can't wait. I can't wait to hear some of your predictions out there, both Tony and the live chat.
Daniel in the building, rocking from the UK. We got light years from home. First time on the live stream. Thank you for being here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, to the Don Tony Teflon and Phil the Issues guy. Thank you for being here. And you definitely get the skull from the Thug Mug for being here for the first time.
And yes, please leave your messages right now, voicemails for your excitement. What are you most looking forward to see in this episode, in the season in general? And you can text that number too. If the chat goes by quick, sometimes we might miss it. And if you want to get a text in, you can do that at also 781-990-8509. That will be the line for tonight too. So you can call throughout the evening if you have a thought about Better Call Saul, and we'll play it either here or the next week or on the after show. So get your questions and your comments in. We might even have it set up at some evenings for actual call-ins so you can talk live one-on-one with us as well at some point.
No doubt about it. Now listen, this is a very interesting episode for the fact that it was shown it was shown early. That's something that I've never seen done before. Like on the seasons that they would show an air episode, like a week before. So listen, we're not going to go off that. We're going to go off of what we think is going to happen. We're going to try to push that to the side. We're not going to deal with that at all. We're going to deal with what we think possibly could happen. Now, I put a theory out. If you watch my video, my last video I dropped the theory, and it's a Gene theory. It won't happen this episode. I'm going to get Phil's take on it. And then we'll get your take in the chat, what you think about it. So the theory is that I came up with is that I believe that Gene is going to have to kill the cab driver, and I think the way he kills the cab driver is by poison. What do you think of that?
I think that would be an interesting way for him to go, and then some sort of connection with the Breaking Bad. I definitely saw that video. Make sure you check it out. He will have to deal with him in some way, shape, or form. Obviously, he said he would deal with him. I think the reasons that you give where Jimmy doesn't fight with his fists, and he doesn't even fight like and the way Walter does, as I do a Breaking Bad rewatch today.
We've seen
Walter,
him with his fist with the boxing gloves,
a
right?
little bit, but he wasn't really doing anything with those fisticuffs. Howard effed him up bad. He took him in the ring. How long would either of them last in the ring with you, Tony?
Not even 30 seconds.
Do you know what's interesting doing this live stream when it's the summertime and the daytime? I'm not used to doing this in the light, like my room lights. And it's interesting with this stuff, the lighting and all that. But what I do want to mention is I think Tony talked a little bit about in his video about the weapon of choice of poison and how that might be associated a little bit with Saul or with Jimmy. I could see that. I could see he's not going to shoot him. If we're going to accept that he's going to kill him, Jimmy's weapon of choice is either his mind or he's going to do something conniving. He's seen Walter use poison before in the past, as mentioned. It's absolutely plausible for him to use that as an option because when you got to do something like that, what do you usually think? What would be the smartest person that I know that would do something? And whatever he thinks about Walter, he's like, Walter's the conniving. Like, if I need to think about this thing, Hail Mary pass, I got to do something Walter would do. And in that way, he knows that Walter poisoned a kid. So why wouldn't he go to that thing? So I think that's very possible.
All right, so Farhang, let me say what up to you all the way from Iran, 4:10 a.m. in there rocking with us. And Rocco, all the way from Italy, 1:40 a.m. there rocking with us. Thank you for rocking with us. Truly appreciate all that stuff. Y'all coming out. Listen, and I seen someone leave a comment saying that that Saul Jimmy's not a killer. Let me tell you something. This is a spinoff of Breaking Bad, and that was the whole concept of Breaking Bad. It's people not doing what you would normally think that they would do, right? They reach a certain part in their life where they broke bad. That was the whole point of it. We have not seen him reach this point. We have not seen him reach this point in Breaking Bad. So eventually he has to reach that point. When he calls the vacuum cleaner guy and he tells him, I'm going to handle it. And then we hear the promo when he's like, listen, if you're thinking about coming back for more, don't. He's given that last ultimatum. And if someone is blackmailing you, there's only one way to stop them. They're never going to stop unless they die.
Don't pay
and
them.
Poison is the way it would go. Now, I said that I thought it would be poison by him make him a drink and kill him. But people on the comment section, I think you may have come up with a better one.
Did they say bacon to a Cinnabon?
Yes, they said they put it in the Cinnabon, and that makes more sense. It really does.
It does.
That he puts the poison in the Cinnabon, hands him the Cinnabon, he walks away, takes a bite, and dies. I see that happening all day. I could definitely see that happening.
To that point, doing something like that might cause him to have to leave and then go back and go back somewhere else, leave the area. It's very interesting. I definitely could see that as a possibility. Tony, we do have our first voicemail of the evening.
Woo-hoo!
This is from area code 818.
What's up, Phil? What's up, Tony? This is Chris from Los Angeles, also known as Spicy Carrot. I had like a little bit of a thing that I noticed because this season is going to go on for 13 episodes, and we've only ever seen 10 episodes per season. Mm-hmm. So I was wondering what the actual intro segment, like that theme song, is going to be like for those extra 3 episodes. You know, is it going to be something new? Are they going to recycle and start from that season 1 intro? Because it gets distorted over time. I was just always wondering, how are they going to extend it and not have that same intro? I'm just a little bit curious as to what they're going to do with that. So, yeah.
Interesting question. The intro definitely evolves over time. I could see them doing something where we finally hear the whole song at some point, since we've only heard that one note. I forget who the artist is. It's a not that well known of a band. It's sort of an underground band that they picked to do that does the Better Call Saul theme. If anyone knows it in the live chat, please throw it in there, and we'll give those people the respect for a night, awesome sounding, awesome tone to the guitar. So I always thought that by the end we'd get something similar with Breaking Bad, where we hear the whole theme out and it plays out a little longer. But But I don't know. For some reason,
I mean, it's really hard. If you have to go logically, that's what you go with, right? You're going to hear it extended to the end, because it's obviously it's going to end with a Gene scene, right? This is going to end with Gene. You know, we're going to see him transform into Saul, but after that transformation happens, you know, how do they do that transition? Do you see him turn into Saul, walk into the building, and then it goes black, and then next episode's all in black and white?
I don't know. I think maybe the color starts sucking away from every episode. You start losing color till when you get through the Breaking Bad stuff. And as he's traveling, as you take it up from the point, and I was just watching this episode where Walter and him are at the vacuum cleaner salesman's house at the same time. And Saul leaves before. And maybe right on that ride, we see it change. One thing I do want to mention, and we have a text message that someone popped in, and this is for Tony. Cinnabon would not appreciate the poison theory.
Well, you have to think about not tasting the poison, right? He has to be, and you put it in the Cinnabon, then you know you ain't gonna taste it. So that's why it really works there, and that's where he's coming to visit him, so he could be like, here. If you're thinking about blackmailing me again, don't take this Cinnabon with you for the road on the house. He looks like the guy who's going to take a Cinnabon on the house.
Yeah.
And be like, thank you very much.
Especially the first Jeff.
This is what happened to this is what Gus pulled off, right? And he got rid of all of his enemies with the same poisoning trick. So I think that in the end, this is how it ends for them. I think he has to take them out. But I do think that Jeff is definitely working for Kim, because when I look at it, the reward is big from the poster.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they're offering $10 for him. They're offering a lot of money. So if this guy was truly about money, why wouldn't he just turn him in and get the reward without the hassle? If he just wanted money, that's why I think it has to be more than the money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Someone wants him to suffer, not money. Someone wants something else. And we didn't get a chance to talk about this because let's be honest. And I love it. I love what they did with the teasers. They, instead of releasing one big long trailer, they just released, I don't even know how many it was at total, like 7 teasers, 5 teasers, whatever. And just when you thought we were out and they weren't going to give us another teaser, they gave us another one. And I think Tony put out like this is the final teaser, 2 teasers before it was the last one. I did all teasers. I missed 2 that came out after I put out a video of that. So what I want to talk about is the last one, the one that neither one of us got a chance to talk about. Yeah. The one that the places, it's called. It flashes to all the different places, and it ends with him getting dressed in the shirt in his house. Do you think, because I do you think the Saul that we see in that image right there with the shirt off is actual an image from this season of the Breaking Bad timeline, Saul?
I got to watch it again. I remember seeing it, but it's either him in the Breaking Bad timeline or him turning into so this Saul going into the Breaking Bad timeline.
To me, it's almost could be, and I'm way headcanoning this. He's picking out his shirt for the first meeting with Walter White as he's like picking out his clothes and stuff. To me, it just seems like what we see basically is, and I know you'll have to rewatch it, we basically just see him from a distance getting dressed. We see that he has all of his ties. He has all of his shirts. He has all the money that's already established. So it's way after the Jimmy timeline. It's before his house was it's the same house that we saw that got broken in, or, taken apart by the feds earlier in this season. So it's somewhere in that time gap. His hair looks very suspiciously like Better Call Saul era Saul hair. I mean, excuse me, Breaking Bad era Saul hair. That the hair is the other big giveaway for me.
And I think that the whole thing, the difference between him right now and him in Breaking Bad is the weight.
The weight, the hairstyle too. A little.
The hairstyle is his hair's thinned over the years, but he weighed a lot more than he does now. I don't know if they would go with prosthetics to make him get that weight back, or they would care about that, or they would just put him in the suit. We'll see him in turning to Saul twice, right? He's going to turn to Saul before he goes into the Breaking Bad timeline, and I think at the end of the Gene scene, he's going to go turn back to Saul again, one last time.
And in that scene, Tony, this may be my imagination. I'd have to rewatch it a million times, but when I watched it the first time, it looked like his face had some sort of computer generated or thick makeup to make him look a little bit thicker, like he did on Better Call Saul. I kept saying it again, on Breaking Bad. It's, at least it seems to me, in my head canon of it, when I watched it, I even recorded a little thing, but I couldn't not get it copyright stricken. So I was just like, okay, whatever. I'll talk about this later. But I'm convinced that trailer was almost them telling us we will definitely get something in that Breaking Bad timeline.
I agree with you 100%. Henry is asking, how do you send text? The same number that you see on the bottom, you could text that number, or you could leave a voicemail. It's right on the bottom, right there, 781-990-8509. Kelly Johnson, thank you for the super chat. Again, super chats are appreciated, but not expected, you know what I mean, but never rejected. So, if you want to send one, you can definitely do that. He says, T, what's good with them House of the Dragon streams? Well, as soon as Better Call Saul ends, the same week is when House of the Dragon starts. So,
literally, the season finale for Better Call Saul is August 15th. And the following Sunday starts House of the Dragon. So it's
I will give you a sneak preview, right? I'm not going to say anything, Kelly, all right? But since you asked this question, I shouldn't even be saying it.
Ooh, you're going to give him the sneak? I'm
going to give him the sneak. I will be doing, at the end of the month, Phil Issues, guys, be rocking with me.
Will
I? Yeah.
I didn't know that part.
I'll be doing an interview with one of the major cast members of House of the Dragon. Not no person that's a secondary character. I'm talking one of the star characters of House of the Dragon. At the end of this month, right before, I'll be doing an interview with them. Not going to tell you who. You'll have to stay tuned to find out. But I'll have that. It's already done. So it's already done. I already talked to HBO, talked to all the people. Everything's done. Date set, time set, everything's done. So I will be having that on the channel. We'll be rocking with that. So definitely stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed by all that and everything else. Again, Phil put the time up right there. Derek's asking, what time does new episode air? 9 p.m. Eastern on the East Coast.
And that will be when it drops on the AMC Plus app. I believe the Netflix thing, if you have Netflix, it's the next day. I think a lot of places it's the next day. We do have a couple of text and one voicemail. Cinnabon would not appreciate it. But why is there a Cinnabon hat in the mansion closet? I didn't see the Cinnabon hat in the mansion closet. If that's the case, that throws it way off. Then I don't understand. Then it's
I gotta see. I don't remember this.
Then it's post that it's post Gene, and somehow he got out of it, and then he won the court case and ended up getting.
He can't get out of it.
He can't get out. Maybe he just has a Cinnabon hat because he just loves those sticky rolls.
he cannot get out of it. There's no way he can get out of it. You know what I mean? It's just not happening. There's no way. He has to go down. He has to go to jail or die. It's one or the other. There's no surviving. There's no, I'm riding off into the sunset in this life. When you see the Gene scenes, that's what it's setting up. He can no longer stand his life as Gene. He can't take it.
Yep.
You see, every time he's about to break, don't speak sure you get a lawyer. Scream. He's about to break. He can't do it anymore. You know what I mean? Sometimes people can go and live that lifestyle. Sammy the Bull Gavano, right? Testified on John Gotti. He got away with it. They gave him a good deal. He went to jail for a couple of years. He gets out. He starts stealing drugs again because he can't stay out of the lifestyle.
Look at the easiest example for people, because you see the movie Goodfellas, right? And Henry Hill, and you think, oh yeah, the end of that movie, he ends up being a nothing, a nobody. He couldn't deal with that. He ended up going on the Howard Stern show, getting drunk, going to events, getting arrested for armed robbery, I think, again, and just became like a drunk, like horrible mess of a human being, and was like right in the face of everything. He couldn't stay away either. It's hard to stay away. Just because you got away with it, he can't do it. And I agree. And that's why I think he comes back to Albuquerque and faces this somehow, because he thinks that the punishment is not going to be worse than what he's dealing with right now. And then maybe he can talk his way out of it. That's where
if you look at The Wire, Marlo Stanfield gets away with it all, but in the end, he goes back to the streets. He has to go back to the streets, and he gets stabbed in his arm, and he's looking at his arm, and he just goes, because I'm back, baby.
He was happy.
You just have to do it. That's just the way it goes sometimes. You know what I mean? That's just That is just what it is and stuff like that. Tom Max says Slippin' Jimmy will survive. Lalo nailed him a few episodes back. I just can't see Slippin' Jimmy survive. I just don't. I don't. Phil, what about? Do you think that he's going to survive and that he survives? Let's say survives me. If he goes to jail, he's still surviving. So.
Maybe then I could see it. I could see a scenario where he ends up in jail and doesn't necessarily end up dead. But that could be. But where that doesn't make sense is that slightly redundant to the situation he's in right now because he's just in another prison. If he does end up in prison, it would be more of a happy ending, which I'm not sure that's what we're going for, where he becomes the prison lawyer and everyone loves him because he's the one person that's connected to this big high profile Heisenberg case. And he evaded the law for so long and only came back because he came back himself to go fight in court with this big pompous attitude to be like, I can beat this. And it's a big public case and it's broadcast and everyone knows it. And he comes to jail as a hero. It's not a hero, but as a celebrity in jail and becomes,
celebrity lawyer. He becomes the lawyer to the people in jail.
That's like the only jail scenario I can think of. And I don't know if we're going for a happy ending, Tony. Other than that, I could see him either. But I also don't think it's. Would he have died? Would they have saved a heart attack for him or a panic attack? Could he have a heart attack when all this is done?
Well, listen, he could die that way. We've seen it already, right? We've seen him already go down and get taken to the hospital because of heart failure or something. So it's a situation that he could go out due to the stress like that. It could definitely be a situation like that.
Kelly Johnson's watching The Boys. I love watching Soldier Boy get his ass kicked, and it was a great season of The Boys. Don't want to talk too much about it, but I saw a lot of good stuff that I wanted to say. And
hey, Kelly, you got to get. I love the super chats and everything, but we can't just go from Saul to The Boys. I gave you a teaser here for House of the Dragon, Kelly. I mean, can I get some love for that?
Okay, let's transition this into a voicemail. This is area code 929.
Hey guys, love to see you guys together doing this live stream. Got a quick question. It's Tom Lutman from Florida. So, season 6, episode 8 says an unexpected visitor forces Jim and Kimmy to face consequences of their actions. A lot of people say this is Lalo. However, we have already seen Lalo come in. But maybe that unexpected visitor is Marion. Could you guys explain maybe what Marion's, maybe she comes into this episode or not? Thank you.
I think Marion is the mother.
You think she's Howard's mom?
Yeah, I think it's Howard's mom. I think that she's coming back because she's not going to believe that her son commits suicide. I don't know if she comes back this episode because I don't know if the suicide thing is solved this episode. That has to come out first. And then after that comes out, then I think she'll show up saying, I don't think that my son would commit suicide. I don't think this is the way it's going to go down. And then I think we see her for the remainder of the season, that she's that thorn that just won't go away. She's still pressing and just, I don't believe he would do it. I can't believe he would do it. And he just keeps coming out there, poking away. And she's the only one. Everyone else is done with it. But she won't let it die. And I think that's her role that she plays. To me, that's what I think. What do you think about it?
I think that's very, very plausible. And I think one of the awesome things about this show more than other ones is this is why it's so fun for theories or putting stuff out there because anything's possible. We're all looking for our parents in lost in Disney World. Hey, mom, like trying to figure out what's going on in some stuff. For her, I tend to think the people that have geared me towards, I'll go with other people's perspectives. This isn't my own. I think she's probably going to be the judge. I think that makes a lot of sense. I could see her being a good match for Jimmy and dealing with that whole situation. Maybe even the judge, not necessarily the one that's his friend that is
Papaladio.
Yeah, not necessarily even that one.
Papadopoulos.
Mr. Papadopoulos. Mr. and Mrs. Papadopoulos. Thank you for getting that. And then, but I could see her being like the lawyer. I'm a big believer. I've said this for a long time. I could be wrong about this, but whatever. I'm dying on this tree that somehow we get one more big court case. We get the prosecution of Saul Goodman or Jimmy McGill. And I could see her being the judge in the case and not dealing with any of Jimmy's, the judge to Ted Bundy's like in a different life, you could have been something good, Saul Goodman.
And you could have been here. I would have loved to see you practice in front of me for a different situation.
Different situation. I could see her being that kind of dynamic with
So you're
him.
saying that the judge for a case before the Gene scenes?
Yes. Yes.
All right. But what case would this be?
No, I mean, I'm sorry. The case after the Gene scenes. When he comes
I
back.
think she's going to be in it longer than that, because I think the Gene, we're definitely getting one Gene episode.
At least.
One.
Yeah.
Well, one. So I don't think, if say it was one, I don't think they brought Carol Burnett to put her in one episode. I think she's going to be in more than one episode. So when it comes down to it, if that was the case, I can't see it being that. I think they brought in Carol Burnett. She's saying, this is my favorite show. They didn't just write her a bit role. This is Carol fucking Burnett. You know what I mean? I know a lot of y'all, maybe young in the chat, you may not understand who Carol Burnett is, but the baton gets passed like this. Lucille Ball, Carol Burnett.
Yeah.
Right? That's the baton, and that's Hollywood comedy royalty. Yeah. Lucille Ball passed it to Carol Burnett, right? So when I think about it, I just don't think they would give her a hi, I'm here and I'm by. It would have to be something bigger.
Even when she was on Glee, and yeah, I'm talking about Glee because it's the last big profile thing I know that she was on. She played Sue Sylvester's mother. If anyone knows who knows who that character is on Glee, one of the main characters' mother. She did have a bit part, but she made the most of her. They kept bringing her back. She played a famous Nazi hunter, and she was really combative and went at the character played by Jane Lynch, who was a very witty kind of put you down kind of person, and she came right at her. And if she can handle Sue Sylvester, which again, it's a different show, different situation, but her dynamic, the way she's coming out, they're going to give her something meaty, fast, and wit. Tony's right. When we're talking about these great comedians of that era, where variety show people, she was, and beyond that of just being Lucille Ball, she was also in a sense kind of like a Dave Chappelle of her time too, in the sense of having her variety show, her team of hilarious people that all worked on that variety show, which spun off to other type stuff. She really killed it and kind of influenced people like Bob Odenkirk with Mr. Show as well, or the Kids in the Hall, like all these people that have these sketch comedy shows that weren't just the traditional one, all kind of were influenced by the Carol Burnett show and the Jackie Gleason show to a certain extent too, that had these big variety shows with all these different character bits that were, at the time when you were watching them, felt like it was kind of cutting edge.
Yeah, Marcellus Watson, Carol Burnett will play the cleaner who disposed of Howard's body. I can't see it. As again, I know you're trying to be funny with that, but I'm just saying, I think they're going to give her a bigger role. I think it has to be something that's at least 3 to 4 episodes. And the only thing I could see doing that right now is if she's Howard's mother. We've never seen Howard's mother. We heard about his father. It would only make sense because they're not getting away with that.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen. And I'm telling you, they showed that blood splatter on that candle for a reason in the promo trailer. I think the cleanup crew is going to miss it. I think they're going to miss that candle blood splatter, and that's going to come back to haunt them in the end.
Tony, to your point about all of that, the another added thing, and again, this isn't from me, this is from somebody in either Tony or my's comment section, because I troll both sections. And thank you guys. You guys are awesome, and half the stuff I learned, and I know Tony said this as well. We learned so much from you guys and what you put in there in the comment section. It's so true. The Peter Gould has said, someone sent me the quote about how if you watch this final season, you're going to notice their love for historic television. And then we have Marion. They put out that the character's name was Marion as a little hint of who they could be. If you go to Happy Days, Howard and Marion are the parents from Happy Days, which could be a weird sort of tongue-in-cheek way of telling you that it's going to be Howard's mom by saying it's Marion. That's something that a few people put out in the live chat, and I like that theory because Peter Gould did in fact say that. I've seen the quote about how you'll see how they love old TV in this season. And I don't know if that just meant Carol Burnett showing up, or the fact that they're
Yeah, I
doing
think
this little
they're
reference.
saying straight up that Marion is Ron Howard's mother
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Happy Days, right?
And the father was named Howard too, like on
And the
Happy
father was
Days.
named Howard, so you have the Howard connection. It just makes sense that's what it's going to be. Julianne 089, it could be Papadopoulos. I'm not telling you that it can't be.
I
It
love
might
it.
be.
We're gonna call him Papadopoulos. That's gonna be a thing.
It might be Papadopoulos. I just don't see how they do a case with the judge to last this long. I don't, because let's go into this right now. So we only going to be on here for 25 minutes. We're going to leave at 8:30 so you guys can get ready for the show, and then we'll be back next week, and we'll definitely talk directly more about the episode next
Yeah,
week
well,
and everything.
tonight's a little harder because of the theoretical things going on, and we don't want to say anything right now, and we don't want to make too big of predictions if we have this in the back of our head of what might happen tonight. So we're trying to keep things more wide angled for the whole season here and long game, end game predictions. And please keep it that way in the chat too. Like, how do you think this is all going to end?
Yeah, so what if it's Kim's mom? Kim's mom, she's way too old to be Kim's mom. It's just, I just can't see her being. When you looked at the age gap from they showed Kim's mom to Kim, that it would be 40 more years.
Yeah,
I mean, what is she? Well, how old is Carol Burnett? 89?
89.
It's 89 years old. That's a way too big of an age gap to be Kim's mom. So I just can't see it being Kim's mom. I think when we deal with this episode, there's a couple of things that got to get handled. I mean, we're going to come right back in the Howard just being killed. We're coming right to that scene.
Yeah, this show, for whatever it's worth, doesn't often not put you right back into the action. So it's hard for me to imagine that we're not going to, wherever this goes, get the ball running and start right where Howard died and see what Lalo's next step is.
Yeah, and we got to deal with Howard's death, Lalo's next step, and what goes on inside that apartment first and foremost, how that is going to go down.
My biggest question is, and this has not been answered by anyone that I know, does Jimmy get any inkling or figure out that Kim knew he was alive? Knew Lalo was alive, and will that play any part in how their relationship goes moving forward? Because I think this event, the blood splattering, as you said, I don't think they both get away with this. Personally, if I'm just throwing shit at the wall here and stuff that I think that Kim is the one that gets busted for this. I think somehow Jimmy sells her out and gets all of this thrown onto her, and she does a little time and loses her license. Doesn't go away for life, but enough to, and Jimmy compartmentalizes it, and that's the big heel turn to where he goes that step too far. Maybe we've seen a few hints to that, but that's when he's going to burn them all essentially. And then to Tony's point, if we're going down that road, Jeff theoretically could be Kim's revenge starting at the start of whatever revenge she has down the road for Jimmy, because the game is cold and she took her a while to find him. So yeah, that's where my mind's going.
Yeah, it's there's no way he can't turn on her. He has to. I mean, he's slipping Jimmy. He's got to save himself. There's no way he's not going to save himself. When the chips are down, he is going to try to save himself. He'll throw anyone under the bus in order to get himself out of trouble. That's who he is, no matter what.
Roach.
Listen, there's some. I'm telling you, I'll give you a personal story. There was a guy I was friends with. His name was whatever. His name was Gotti. We'll call him Gotti, right? And he went out, and we had a great time in life. One time, he hit his parents for like $10,000, and then took the 10 G's and took us all out, and we all went on the 10 G's. Later on in life, he fucked me and my family over, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, how could he do something like that to me?
You're like,
me and him
oh,
were friends. And then my boy was like, dude, he robbed his own fucking family.
Yeah.
What would make you think he wouldn't do something to you? And I was stupid to think that. You cannot change somebody. People are who they are. This is who he has shown to be. And when the chips are down, no matter how nice he is to her or how much he claims to love her, he loves himself more.
Right. When he's being flushed down that toilet, he's going to push anyone down below him to save himself. If he's Jack in the water at the end of Titanic, he's taking what's her name off, throwing her in the water,
Rose,
Rose, taking the jewel and hawking that shit and buying a mansion. That's what Jimmy's doing. He's like her first husband in that when he's like shooting the kids and stuff like that. Matt Johnson has an interesting question that I definitely want to look at, and we do have a text as well.
All right.
Is there more interest in what happened in the past for the Gene future timeline? Which thing are you more interested in, Tony? Are you more interested in seeing how the Jimmy and Kim thing takes care of, or are you more interested in the Gene future time stuff?
Gene, because I know how it basically is going to end with him. Not how it's basically, but I know he's going into Breaking Bad. So no matter what, it's going to end him going there. Gene is the actual ending of the show. Right, how it actually ends is the Gene. So I care much more about the Gene than everything else. I wish they just do straight Gene from now on.
Yeah,
I'd be cool with that. I really don't need to see. I really need to see all the situation and how he gets there. You know what I mean? You gotta understand this dude. This is a scumbag dude, man. And I know people like him and everything else, but you gotta look at him for what he truly is. He's a scumbag. You know what I mean? He calls his secretary sugar tits. You know what I mean? This is who he is. This is who he's been. So just you have to understand who he is. The thing about Walter White, the whole thing that they did there was that they took the good guy and they turned him into a bad guy. Right? That was the whole thing. Yeah. This is what we're going to see. Not the exact same turn, but not too far off. Not too far, because he's always been a scumbag.
Yeah, Slippin' Jimmy was doing this in people's cars for a long time, as I showed that. And to 803, who was our first text message, said, to Tony's point, Chuck called it in the episode The Lantern, told Jimmy that in the end, he'll hurt everybody. And also, same caller says, 803 says, upcoming hope is that we'll see the pivotal event that changed Francesca's attitude so drastically. By Breaking Bad, she clearly views Saul as an asshole and yet kept working for him. Why? Money. Money, 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 money. And I think it got to that point where with Francesca, she realized that she fell into the machine and got into the thing. I think Kim was always her in to think she was doing something better. But then as we've seen Francesca only a little bit this season so far, we did see that scene where Kim was disappointed in setting up the office in a nice way. And you could see Francesca knowing that she's going to have to transition the office to the new Saul Goodman office. I think she is a victim, and what we're supposed to think with her eventually down the road is that he slowly breaks her. He's such a manipulator.
And you also see her when he's breaking the office apart. She's like, she don't even want to take that phone call.
No.
He's like, this is the time, and she's scared to death. Like, I don't even want to do this shit. And if that shit ring 2 times, I'm hanging up. So what are they confronted with that they have to run away this fast? What could it be? What could be on the line that they would charge this much money for this motherfucker? Again, bringing back to the Gene. If Gene was just there for the money, why wouldn't he just turn him in and get the reward? It's the easiest way to go.
Yeah.
Why would you extort? Why would you think he has money for you to extort? Why would you think this guy working in Cinnabon all of a sudden has all this money for you to extort, that you would have to be able to get that much money when he's being worth all this money? That's why I'm telling you, Jeff is working for Kim. It's a whole, and that one episode was Axe to Grind. And this is what I'm telling you, what that episode was focused around Kim. This is what it's Kim. This is Kim has an axe to grind with him for him fucking her over in the end. He's going to fuck her over this season. I'm trying to tell you, there's no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Juliana, good point, but just because this is one of those things that I think it's said, it maybe said in The Wire, but just because someone's a piece of shit doesn't mean they have bad eyes. Just because Chuck, and the reason why Chuck can say that with such certainty is he's his equal piece of shit, selfless piece of shit. He doesn't just see Jimmy he looks at Jimmy and he sees the narcissistic personality that he has himself. He sees in Jimmy, and then he sees that he's like a chimp with a machine gun. He has all the power. It's like Bam Bam. You have a little baby with all this ability and this quick wit and this mind, and that can put things together like I can, and can be completely selfish and focused. But he's a horrible person. He's a scumbag. He doesn't care about people. So I think Chuck, in a weird way, even though he is a horrible person, a horrible brother, and was a horrible husband, a horrible partner, and a big mess of a human being in a lot of ways. But I think he knows his brother more than anybody does. And when he talks about him, we should listen. And when he says, no one, you're going to screw everyone in the end, no one knows that more than Chuck.
No doubt. My father used to always say, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Right? He used to always say that. And we've seen who he is. But it seems like a lot of people are afraid to believe it. Oh, he would never turn on Kim. He would never do this. You've seen him do it to other people. Kim ain't special. Kim ain't special. That's because she's giving the pussy. That don't make her special. I'm trying to tell you. Dudes cheat on their wives all the time. Dudes, when it comes down to it and they got to get themselves out of trouble, watch what happens. I guarantee that this cat, I told you this before, and I'm telling you it again, he's out the door. He's here to save his own ass.
Tony, not that this situation is going to happen. I'm talking about completely hypothetical situation. Kim is drowning in the water, and a bag full of $1 billion is sinking right next to him. Which one does Saul Goodman go for? He says, screw. He steps on Kim's head, picks up the $1 billion, and says, peace, and walks up.
And I'll get a girl to have plastic surgery that looks kind of like you.
Yeah, exactly. I'll go Jorah Mormont and go to the local and go find a dragon queen for myself.
That's it. That's this guy. That's what we've been shown of who he is. And I just can't see him changing his ways. I don't see that whatsoever.
Melissa, she's not. And I don't think, I'm not letting Kim off. We're just happen to talk about Jimmy right now. And this is why.
So I will say, like, Kim gets a bad rap. And I've seen people say, is Kim going to be the next Walter White and everything?
That's else? A bit far.
Listen, let me highlight Melissa's comment. Your comment's staying up there for a second. You know what I mean? Staying up here for a second, Melissa. All right? We're going to leave it up here for a second. We're going to talk about this. Everything that Kim has done bad is direct influenced by this dude. He is the one who's corrupted her.
Or her mom.
He's corrupted her. If you have somebody, right? Let me break it down to you like this, Melissa, and everybody else in here. Let me break it down like this. If I'm dating a woman, right? And I get that woman hooked to heroin, and she starts doing crazy shit, stealing and everything else because she's on heroin to get the drug, that's my fault. I'm the one who turned her out. I'm the one who did that. So everything else in consequence that she gets into, now listen, she's an adult. If you want to say she's an adult and she chose to do it, no gun to her head, blah, blah. But manipulation is a big thing. Right?
I agree with you.
And this is what it is. So I when I look at it like that. She may have gotten diabolical, but it's because of his ass. He's the one who set her up to be that.
I agree with you to a certain extent, Tony, that he saw something in her, either consciously or subconsciously, that he unlocked. But I do think something.
I love you, Melissa.
I do think something was there to begin with because of her mother doing something very similar. So Jimmy, without even realizing it, sort of took that place and added to it, like Emperor Darth Vadered her in a sense. She has potential for good, and I think she is influenced. And I agree with you, like Jimmy's the drug that made her into an asshole in some ways. But I do think she had a predilection to it. That's not going to happen to everyone. People are going to push Jimmy away when he tries to do that stuff. She brought him closer and made decisions herself and kind of went in with her head up high instead of him just being like, you're going to do this stuff, huh? So she is in a sense an equal player, but I don't think she would do this if it was, and this is where I agree with you. I don't think she would do it if it wasn't for Jimmy, but I think she needs that bad influence in her life to push her down that alley.
And as Carol Funk is saying right here, she learned it from her mother. Yeah, the gratification, see, the only time her mother seemed to care about her was when she did wrong with her mother. She wasn't bad. Her mother made her bad, right? And it was her mother that she got gratification, like, hey, it's okay to shoplift. And that's what made her go down that path. It was the validation she got from her mother, right? If her mother would have shut her down, you weren't allowed to shoplift. What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. That would have been it. Jimmy is acting as the role of her mother right now. Jimmy's her mom's in this situation. And that's the way it's going down right now. You know what I mean?
The only thing I disagree with you about, I agree with most of what you're saying, except I think
she's not Shay. No,
I think Kim is all in on
scamming her
this.
whole life.
Yeah, see, I agree a little bit more with Shay. I think she always
where did we seen that she's been scamming her whole life?
I think we're gonna see it. I think we're gonna see it.
We haven't seen it though. There's nothing that's shown us.
I think something
she's scamming her whole life.
I think something got Kim out of her original hometown. And in my head canon of that, she got too much like her mother and had to leave town. And wrote too many bets she couldn't cash anymore and was escaping that sort of lifestyle, fell into the whole lawyer thing, made a decision. And seeing Jimmy is like seeing your old friends again that make you do bad shit again. But I do think personally, you could be 100% right. But where my headcanon of it is,
let's take a poll in the chat.
Let's do it.
Are you with the Don Tony Teflon type T? If you're with Phil the Issues guy, type P.
Let's go to the bathroom. Let's go to the bathroom.
Let's see who the people are with right now.
I think Kim was
on the new. Yeah, and I know this is a setup. I know I'm going to lose it because y'all just hate Kim already. But I'm telling you the truth. It's not Kim's fault that she's. I'm not blaming. I'm listening. She's a grown woman
right now.
I'm giving you that. I'm getting. Oh, look at those peas.
No, we're seeing some teas. We're seeing some teas. The teas are making a comeback here. The teas, see, Jackie teas and tea. We can see P, Teflon Kim. I don't know what that one is.
Listen, you know what it is, man.
Adam says Phil has enough points. Game over. No, Tom's giving. I think Tom voted. Oh, see, Big T, the Big T. Good guy system says both valid. I don't know. So
you know, when I see it, when I see the deal with it, I have to look at it that this dude is the one that pulled this out of her. Everybody in the world, right, can do something bad, right? Let me put it to you like this, Phil. Those people, and certain people are predisposed to certain situations. Right?
Absolutely.
You know, certain people are predisposed to being alcoholics or something like that. But it's usually someone pushes them, hey, try this, try that. And that's what gets them, right? And I think it's a situation dealing with that. Now, I'm not going to go into, it's not the same situation, but I'm saying those girls that met Marilyn Manson and did all those horrible crimes would have never done that if they never met that man.
Marilyn Manson is a pretty a piece of shit too, but I know you meant Charlie Manson. But
yes, Charlie.
I hear what you say. Like
I said that in the video.
But he's not much better, dude. Marilyn Manson's a piece of shit too. That's why I didn't stop you. I let you badmouth Marilyn Manson as well.
But no, Charlie Manson.
But I know I agree with you. I just think there's more to Kim's story that we haven't seen yet, and there's going to be some reason that she originally left home, and that's because she was always a manipulator and she always had this in her a little bit. And Jimmy was just like when you get like on The Sopranos in the final season when Christopher dates that Juliana or whatever, and they're both recovering addicts, and by hanging out, it both comes back and they both like explode and destroy each other's lives. I think in a sense they both have this in them, and but honestly, either situation, as someone said, TP, they need to go to the bathroom. Both answers are valid. So I do think we might see a little bit more of Kim. It's always been in my headcanon that she has a little bit more responsibility for this, but you're very much not wrong in, I do think Jimmy was the catalyst one way or another, whether he was Charlie Manson to her or whether he was just an equal part igniter to something that was already in her.
I think that you're going to see it right in this episode when you deal with the Howard death. See, it's a game to Kim. I mean, she was the one who went out there, and when Lalo tried to get out of the line, she's the one who backed him down, right? It was a game until Howard got killed.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you now that Howard is dead in her face, in her apartment,
Blood.
and got murdered because of this situation. You will see that it's not a game anymore to her. And now she's going to be like, this is really different type of consequences going on here.
It's
and people saying like, oh, she made Howard look bad, and she did push for that whole situation, and there's no doubt about it. But she didn't expect the dude to get whacked. And I'm going to tell, and that is going to be the thing that we see that pushes her. I can't be a part of this shit anymore. I can't do this. Yeah. I'm not this type of person. Saul is this type of person. He don't care who dies as long as he get paid.
No, he's getting that book. He's getting the vet's book with all the contacts that's happening. Area code 803 says, Kim tried to be the ethical one, but she was turned on by the danger. She's fully aware, though. Her car accident, her disingenuously saying it's his fault. She tells him she's an adult and made her own choice to get in the car. And he says... So more agreeing with you than that. I know, Adam, we're at less than an hour. We got about a few more minutes here. If anyone has one last minute phone call that wants to get in right now.
I'll go for 10 more minutes. I'll go for 8 until this thing says an hour alive.
Sounds good.
That's about 9 minutes.
Kim is a real man baby. Yeah, Austin Powers, says Adam. Lalo is the combination of Negan and Anton Chigurh. I don't know who that is, the second one. But yeah, we're less than an hour away. I do think
9 o'clock, right? So 9.
Yeah, 9 o'clock. Do you think Kim lasts till the final episode?
Kim's not dying.
Not that she's dying, but do you think Kim is in every episode till the end, or does Kim's character arc end?
She comes back in the Gene scenes.
So do you think we have episodes without Kim in it? Like we'll have a couple of episodes where she's gone theoretically and then comes back?
Yes, I think that she'll be gone before he makes the final crossover to Saul and goes to the Breaking Bad universe. She will be gone. Yeah. She will get locked up most likely and go to jail because of him. Because of him. He's going to throw under the bus.
So we have 6 episodes here. Let's think about this for a second. So for instance, 2 episodes here, right? This episode and the next episode, I think personally, and I'd love to hear what you think after soon. I think the first 2 episodes, we're going to be in the current time that we see. No sign of Gene stuff. What people need to remember that are hoping for a Gene intro scene tonight is this was originally slated as 13 episodes in a row. They didn't mean to do this 7-week break. They had to because of Bob's heart attack and restrictions with all of that, with filming and stuff. So they needed to figure this break out and put it in there to give them a little time. And I think they did a good job with the teasers and keeping us all talking about it and invested. But I don't think we're going to see a Gene thing tonight. So I think these first 2 episodes are going to be all in the timeline that we know. And then I think some big event's going to happen. And then the next couple of episodes might be Breaking Bad-ish timeline. There's something I want to talk about, but I don't know how much I should talk about this. It's about the Walt and Jesse thing.
All right. So he said, Walter White said, I'm Walter White.
Okay, no, you're about to say what I'm about to say too.
All right, he said, what's good? You produced the video on it, right?
No, but then he said more too.
All right, so let's go with your video because he said more exactly what's going to happen with them because no people are wanting. So what did he say? I know what he said, but I know
He said this on a couple occasions. If people don't want any spoilers for this, but this doesn't really spoil what they're doing. It just spoils how many times they're there.
Yeah.
He straight up said it's 3 scenes. It's 1 scene with just Walter. It's 1 scene with just Jesse and 1 scene with the 2 of them.
Yes, that's what it's going to be.
He didn't say any particular episode. He said, I don't even know what episodes they're in because they were shot completely away from everything else and out of context. So he doesn't know if they're in the same episode or they're spread out. But he said there's 3 scenes and 1 of each of them individually and 1 of the 2 of them together.
I don't think it's going to be as memorable or as good as people want it to be.
Yeah. You think it's going to be like a glorified cameo kind of thing?
Yes. I don't think it's going to be anything of significance that this needed to happen in order for this story to work.
I agree. I don't think it's something that's needed to happen. In fact, I have a feeling it's going to be more of in the comedic sense rather than a serious sense, in a way of the way the film crew serves and it's going to be a more of a levity point in the series. I think it's an excuse to get Aaron Paul to say "yeah, bitch" one last time, and I think it's going to be more akin to what we saw in El Camino rather than a scene. I think it's going to be
that's what I think it's going to be, more of an El Camino type situation.
It's not, and I think the only time we might get an interesting Walter scene is I do think the Walter alone scene, and this is my speculation, the Walter alone scene is going to be in the prison, or not in the prison, in the vacuum cleaner salesman's basement. It's going to be a scene with Saul and him together alone, Walter being all grumpy right before we get to the point where we see that episode where they were in there already talking for hours. We don't know what when they were introduced, when he first comes in there. That's what I think the Walter alone scene is going to be.
Yeah, because when you dealt with the El Camino situation, it was a scene that they just didn't show you what they were doing at that time.
Yeah,
right. And
it's place. It's somewhere where you can actually do it.
Yeah, but it wasn't important.
No, not at all.
To the story.
No,
it's more of a fan service situation, and I think that's what this is. It's more of a fan service thing to throw them in there, not anything significant that leads to the plot of what's going on here.
Tony, I agree with you 1,000% on what you say, except for I would not define this as fan service. I don't think in this case they give a crap about the fans for this. They're doing this. This is crew service. This is they as a crew and as a entire creative force wanted to bring Brian and Aaron back. They don't. They're like, we don't even care what the fans want. We want to bring them back. We can't. And I've heard them say this. Both Vince and Peter said this in different ways. We can't do the end of this series the way we end this without bringing them back. They have to come back for us. So I think they don't. As much as it is exactly for the reason you defined, I think they're doing that for their own selfish reasons because they want to see it one more time because they know this is the last opportunity that they're going to have for that. Not that we might not get a spinoff. We might not get the Gus thing. We might not get some other spinoff in that series, a Lalo kind of thing or whatever. It's
you'd have to have the actor that plays Lalo. You'd have to have the actor who plays Gus for those to work to me.
Yeah, you would.
Without them, it doesn't work. You don't want what you don't want is a Carlito's Way Part 2.
Oh, that was dude. Oh, dude. Why are you hurting me, Tony? Why are you hurting me? That movie sucked. What is it? Rise to Power? Carlito's
That's the worst. That's the worst. That is the worst prequel of any prequel that ever existed. TV movie. There is no prequel worse than that fucking Carlito's Way prequel ever. Even The Sopranos one was better.
Dude, at least that was just boring. I mean, give me a break. Don't talk to me about that. Yeah, a Lalo and Kim odd couple sitcom style. I'm just saying we might get another series at one point, but I think to them, they're looking at this as a bow and nod to this Albuquerque Breaking Bad universe. And to them, Peter and Vince, they couldn't do that without bringing Walt and Jesse back just for even, hey guys. But I do think they're going to make them do something interesting. To me, it's one of them's got to be a cold open. We're going to see a cooking meth cold open or something as we gear towards a Saul scene. I think they're going to be used tastefully and they're going to be fun, but they're not needed. This show doesn't need them. It's just for fun.
Yeah, this show is Kim and Jim and how it ends for them. And that's what really people care about. That's why I care more about the Gene scenes. But I think they have to deal with the situation at hand right now. I think this episode is going to be epic. I think it's going to be groundbreaking. And I think you're going to have to wrap, me personally, the Lalo thing can't last that long. It has to wrap soon, right? I would think it would have to, because you have to go into the second part.
There's too much. There's too much story.
Breakup. You have to have the Kim and Jim breakup. And that's going to take a couple of episodes to get done. So you have to deal with that situation. That situation has to get dealt with as fast as we can.
Absolutely. Both. Yep. Absolutely. Both Peter and Vince said they wouldn't do it unless it made sense, unless they get something good to do.
You know what makes sense? Money. And it's not going to make sense. It's going to make dollars. All right. And
Especially
let me
if this
tell you
hits good.
something. They could go away and try something else. And when that doesn't work, and AMC is like, listen, here's $1 billion, get it done. They're gonna get it done. That's money talks, man.
Bring the crew back.
That's the way it goes. We're gonna get the band back together again, Blues Brothers style. You know what I mean? That's the way it goes. Money talks. All right, 28 minutes. I'm gonna let you guys go. 270 people up in the chat. Understand that as soon as the episode is over, you want to go to Fill the Issues Guy's channel. He will be live talking about the episode right after.
And we'll have we'll have phone calls on, and the event's already created, so you can jump over there right now and hit your
jump over there. You can put it in there. Fill the Issues Guy. And next week we'll be back again with the pregame stream. Every week we'll be here. It'll be a little earlier next week. It'll be 7 p.m. We'll go 7. Which is, obviously, only reason we didn't go longer is because of the whole Tribeca situation.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
And that's it. So, it's a tough situation where we don't know if that's real, whatever. But we'll be back at 7 p.m. next week. I'll set it up. You'll see everything else like that. We shall see what goes. Lance is like, after all that, a happy ending. Nah, my brother.
No. Probably not, my friend. Probably not.
It will not be happy. Not for this cat. You know what I mean? Not without a shadow of a doubt. All right. See y'all over at 100% at Fill the Issues Guys channel when this is all said and done.
One down, always, 5 more to go.
If you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this. Again, spread this across the realm. And as always, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.